I decided to kind of do this video on a whim. So if it does seem like it's kind of all over the place and you still are able to make it through, I want to say thank you so much for making it with me, and may God bless your stimulus package. Rice pudding. Hey sunflowers and squares. Welcome back to BPD Squared, where we discuss mental health from a black girl's perspective. My name is Brenda, and today I want to talk to you guys about one of the main things that bugs me about having borderline personality disorder. So because I am stuck in my house with not much else to distract me from my own thoughts but YouTube and a few PC games, I have been watching a lot of different influencers on YouTube. At least I think that's the correct terminology. So I've recently found PRXO, I found Kelly Stamps, I found Hello Leash. Like, there's a lot of people that I've been watching recently that I'm just like, oh, I love your content. Christina Mayoni, I think that's how you say her last name. I love her, by the way. But anyway, point of the matter is I'm watching all these people and I'm like, okay, I love their aesthetic. I love what they're about, such and such and such. Specifically, there's a certain way that Kelly Stamps presents herself on camera that I am just enamored with. And I'm like, I just can't stop watching her. But herein lies the issue. I watch her, I love her, but then it starts getting into my brain that those mannerisms, they start sinking into my own personal being. And so therefore it goes from, oh, I like what she's about, let me emulate some of that. It goes from emulate to imitate. And that's one of the things that really annoys me when it comes to having BPD. So within the diagnostic criteria for BPD, there's a symptom that is noted as a lack of identity or a confused sense of self. And so because there's this struggle to really figure out who we are as people, especially if you have been diagnosed with BPD, you end up in this position of feeling like you have to find an identity some kind of way through some kind of means. And a lot of times that ends up being, or it ends up coming from people that we watch on a daily basis. I know when I'm around certain people for a certain amount of time, there are certain mannerisms that I start to pick up and I start to emulate. And again, that's kind of a normal thing. I do want that to be clear. That's something that we normally do, especially like if we're in a workplace. You're with people that you work with all the time. They have different mannerisms and ways that they act, especially if it's like a manager or your boss or whatever. You want to pick up certain mannerisms because you know that that will keep you in a good light, or that you know that it's going to keep the eyes off you, or whatever the case may be. So it's completely normal to pick up certain mannerisms to emulate the kind of relationship that you're trying to get from people. But the issue again, it goes from emulation to imitation. So here's where I get frustrated. Frustrated. Yep. By the way, if you are new to this channel, I want to say thank you for stopping by to watch the video and welcome. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to see more content and more things related to BPD and mental health in general. To actually back myself up so I sound like I know what I'm talking about, let's look at what emulate and imitate actually means. By this definition, to emulate someone or something is to try to be as good as that person or that thing. But to imitate something means that you are copying that and trying to fashion yourself to be exactly that. Let's say, for instance, your dream is to become a singer, and not just any singer, like Beyonce level singer. So there's two ways you can go about this. If you emulate what Beyonce does, you would take certain things that she uses in her daily routine, like how she practices, how she warms up her vocals, how she rehearses her dance moves, how she memorizes her lines, whatever the case may be. There's certain things that you know that she would do to get to that level. So you would emulate those things while still staying true to your own personal spin on things. Whereas there's a person that wants to imitate Beyonce, that means everything that Beyonce is doing, that person is going to do it the exact same way, to the point where it's no longer, oh, Brenda is going to be Beyonce. It is, Brenda's going to be Beyonce. So again, I have been watching Kelly Stamps. And again, I became enamored with her channel and just her way of being, basically. Her natural self is an amazing person, and I love watching everything that she does. I think she's hilarious and informative. And the fact that she's like, what, 9 years younger than me is like amazing. But the point is, I've learned a lot from her. But again, because I become enamored with her channel and enamored with her ways, I started to notice the imitation part starting to creep up. And I noticed I was moving certain ways and I would talk certain ways and even kind of respond to things in a certain way. And I had to catch myself again. That's that BPD and being self-aware. Had to catch myself and be like, hey, you're doing things that aren't natural to you. You're doing things that are more related to what you would see her doing. There are certain principles and concepts that she has talked about on her channel that I definitely want to implement into my own life. She does stress the idea of minimalism, which I'm totally 120% down for. She stresses the idea of, just building yourself as a business and pushing towards, getting your goals out there and, just not worrying about what other people are doing and not being afraid to just live your life and be you no matter what and who you are. Just do your thing. And I love those principles. But again, I have to take what she says in stride, and I have to take what she says as a guide and not an actual, this is what you have to do. I was actually accused of this exact situation by a former friend. We had been discussing my issues with dissociation and I was kind of describing to her the different experiences that I was having. And because it reminded her of other people and other situations that she was aware of, it caused her to feel like, I don't think that we can talk anymore because it sounds like you're taking other people's lives and making them your own. Now, to be totally honest, that's not the truth. Certain things that I realized I was experiencing were similar to other people's experience, but that was one of those situations that I'm like, nah, this is definitely a personal thing. It's similar to what other people are maybe experiencing, but this is my own personal thing. But again, being self-aware really does help you out when it comes to noticing what's a genuine experience and what's being taken from somebody else. So how do you notice it within yourself? If you are a person with BPD and you feel like you're taking on the identity or of somebody else, how do you combat that? Again, the best thing to be is self-aware in this situation. Now, I can't tell you how to be self-aware, but the best thing that I know when it comes to getting to that level of self-awareness is to learn how to pay attention to you and pay attention to your body and what your body is naturally used to. One of the benefits that I got from being in a mental institution is honestly that I learned the things that I really liked doing on my own. The facilities that I stayed at, you don't have access to like your phone or the internet, and you can watch TV, but it has to be a collective agreement that we all watch pretty much the same thing. And even a lot of the stuff that you watch had to be rated under TV 14. So there was only so much that you could do there. But I worked puzzles, I colored, I played Uno with people, and I, did Sudoku and word find puzzles and took time to write and journal and spend time outside. So when you're there kind of alone with your thoughts and trying to find different ways to truly entertain yourself and give yourself positive coping skills, you learn a lot about what you truly like. My suggestion in learning how to be more self-aware is to spend time in quiet places alone. And I do mean like no music, no TV, like pretty much silence and solitude, whether it has to be like while you're taking a bubble bath or just laying in bed in the dark. Again, I used to, when I lived in my parents' house, I used to sit in my closet all the time in the dark because that was my best place to just quiet down my thoughts and really get back to myself. That was my place of calm and coping. If you have to, find a quiet place in your house and sit there for a bit and just think to yourself, how does it feel when I get anxious? How does it feel when I get depressed, when I get angry? What are, start thinking about what are things that trigger you? What are the things that bring you joy? Just pretty much anything. The more you start paying attention to when you're reacting and how you're reacting, it makes it so much easier to start realizing this is a difference. This is a change that I didn't agree to, basically. This is a change, and that's something that I have to learn what's natural for me and what's coming about because of outside influences. So again, I just wanted to jump on this video to just say that much. I've been struggling to get ideas out, honestly, and I have so much I want to talk about. But again, like I said, I've been taking on the concept of so many other people that I feel my own brain is being filled with the thoughts and ideas of others. And so now that I had an original thought, I was like, let me hurry up and sit down and just talk about this and get this out, because again, I have talked to people before who are suffering with BPD, who do struggle with just trying to figure out who they are on an everyday basis and trying to figure out whether or not their level of emulation is crossing into that territory of imitation. And, when do you know that you've lost yourself, basically? So if need be, this can be a continued topic. I know it's a very strong topic, but it is something that I wanted to point out. So I do hope that anything I said made sense today. I'm hoping this video is kind of short, sweet, cut and dry, because like I said, I just wanted to get that out there and whatever and whatnot. So as always, sunflowers, thank you so much for watching the video and taking time out of your busy quarantined lives to give me a watch. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you check me out on all social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, as well as make sure you are going to BPDsquared.com, checking out the blog posts, as well as joining in the conversation on the forum. The page is still being built, guys. There's still a lot of work that's going into it, and I would really love more and more people's input so we can keep this platform growing. There will be educational pages coming very soon. So if there is anything that you would like to know about in regards to BPD, bipolar disorder, or even any other mental illnesses that are out there, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what your interests are, and we'll definitely make sure that we have resources available there on the blog. There's so many to cover. I'm going to try to do the best I can to cover as much as I can. But again, if there's anything specific you want to know, leave it down in the comments below. Also, make sure you go and check out my good friend Wraith. Check out her channel, her Instagram, as well as check out her Redbubble store and check out the products that she has. Go support my girl and all her wonderful efforts and the beautiful person that she is. But as always, stay square, sunflowers, and I love you guys so much. Mwah!